Hi guys, welcome back. I'm Alexandra and we are now on to part 2 of our Foundation 101 video. So if you have not watched part 1 yet, I'm going to link it down below. Make sure that you do, because a lot of this might not make as much sense if you don't. So in part 1, we went into skin types, what are the best coverages for those skin types. We also went into primers, concealers, setting sprays and powders, talc versus no talc, what do you use for each skin type. So make sure that you watch part 1 before you watch part 2, because there's so much information, and again, this might not make as much sense if you don't. All right, so if you've already watched part 1, we are now on to part 2, and now we're gonna get into foundations. We know what kind of skin type we have and what coverages we need, so now what foundations do we get to have those coverages, all right? Also, applying them. What is really worth having for applying and what's really not worth having for applying, okay? And then lastly, a get ready with me is showcasing a couple of my favorites. So refill those coffee mugs, pour yourself another glass of wine, and get ready, because we are now on to part 2 of Foundations 101. Alright guys, so now we are on to part 2 of our Foundation 101 video. So with this, let's talk about foundations. Now we know what type of skin we have, what kind of coverage we need for that type of skin. So what are the best foundations to get those coverage types? Okay, so the first one I want to talk about is for aging skin. So if you have aging skin, again, we want, the more lighter coverage, liquid foundations. I would recommend the Derma Blend Flawless Creator Foundation Drops. Okay, and then you can find those at Ulta or Macy's for $40, and then again, mix a little bit of that CC cream or tinted moisturizer in there before you apply to get you that lighter coverage that you need. Now, if you need a little bit more of a fuller coverage, don't add as much. You just kind of have to play with it a little bit to figure out what works best for you, okay? So the second foundation we're going to talk about is a full matte foundation. So you want full coverage, but a matte finish. So for that one, I'm going to recommend this baby, which is my ride or die summer foundation, and that is the Lancome Tint Idol Ultra Wear. I love this foundation. It gives you just, I feel like doll-like skin. I mean, I love it, okay? Now, this you can find at Macy's or Sephora for $47. However, I would recommend getting it at Macy's. And the reason being is because this foundation oxidizes. And you probably have heard that with other foundations before, and you're like, Alex, what does that mean? So what that means is when it's probably got an SPF in it, which this does, is it has SPF 15. So when you put it on, it's going to go on one color, and then as it dries to that matte finish, it's going to darken a little bit. So you definitely need to be very careful when you're picking your shade, okay? I recommend going to the Macy's, the Lancome counter to purchase this, because they will help you. They're very, very good at that. That's where I got mine at, and I mean, the lady matched me in one try. It was amazing. Secondly, the Macy's Lancome counter a lot of times does like little 15 or 30% off deals on Lancome products. So that's a great way to get a discount on these foundations. And they also do like little giveaways. So if you spend $30 or more, so I got 15% off. I paid $39 for this. Plus I got a Lancome tote, a eyeshadow thing, a lipstick, a mascara, just all kinds of goodies. I actually have a video about all of that. If you guys are interested, I will link it down below. So yeah, I would definitely recommend getting it at Macy's. Now, if you want a full coverage but a luminous or glowy finish, I would recommend getting the NARS This one right here, the NARS Natural Radiant Long Wear Foundation. Now, this is one of those foundations that you absolutely, under no circumstances, want to use a talc powder with. It will junk up your foundation in a heartbeat, okay? So stay away from talc powders. Take my word for this on this one. I have been there, done that, don't do it. So you can get this at Sephora or Macy's or Ulta for $49. All right, okay, so the next one, if you want more of a natural finish, I would go with a semi-matte, or if you need something with a lighter or medium coverage, or even a buildable coverage. So say you want to, you know, have, you know, lighter coverage one day, but then the next day you have a breakout and you want a little bit more coverage. I would recommend this one right here, which is definitely one of my top faves, and this is the Urban Decay Naked Skin. So you can get this one at Macy's, Ulta, Sephora. It's $40. It works great, and I would use a brush with this, okay? And we'll get into that here in just a minute. Okay, now, if you want, if you're using a powder foundation, okay, if you want more of a light coverage or a more light to buildable coverage, I would recommend this one, which is the MAC Studio Fix Foundation. Okay, so you can get this one at Macy's, you can get it at Nordstrom. It's $30. I would recommend, if you're getting it now, to get it at Nordstrom, because they have a deal right now where you can get a free gift of the Prep and Prime Natural Radiance Primer. So there you go. That's that one. All right. So if you want to use a powder foundation, but you want a little bit more coverage, okay, I would definitely go with the Bare Minerals. So they have a matte version and then an original version. They have kits of these for $34, where you can get the foundation, the primer, and then the mineral veil powder all in one kit for like $34. I've also seen them at TJ Maxx for like $15, or you can get the foundation separately and at Sephora or Ulta for $29, okay? So those are them. Okay, now as far as great drugstore dupes to those foundations, so if you want a full natural matte finish foundation, the best one I can tell you that's a good dupe for the Lancome Tint Idol would be the Maybelline Fit Me Matte and Poreless. So if you have problems with your pores, again, you want that more matte or natural finish, I would definitely go with that one. You can get that at Walmart right now for $5.94, also Target for $5.99, and then Ulta has it for $7.99, okay? If you're wanting more of a full coverage glowy finish, so the equivalent to the NARS, I would go with the L'Oreal True Match Lumi Healthy Luminous Foundation. Okay, that's going to give you your full coverage. That's going to give you that luminous, glowy look, just the same as the NARS. And you can get that at Target right now for $8.09, or also Ulta has it for $11.99. Okay, now let's say that you want more of a lighter coverage or a more natural finish, not as much glow. I would still get that same foundation, but also get the L'Oreal True Match Lumi Glotion. Mix those together and then apply, and that's going to give you lighter coverage and a more natural finish. You can get the Lumi Glotion at Target right now, has it for $11.19, and then also Ulta has it for $14.99. Okay, now powder foundations, I think probably the best one I can recommend is going to be the CoverGirl True Blend Mineral Foundation. This is also going to be great if you have a lot of sensitivity problems. This used to be my ride or die powder foundation, like back in the day. I just love this stuff. I used it all the time. CoverGirl also has another great one called Simply Powder, CoverGirl Simply Powder. So this one, the True Blend Minerals, Rite Aid or Walmart has it right now for $7.94. And then the CoverGirl Simply Powder, Rite Aid has for $6.99, and then Target has currently for $7.89. Okay? Okay guys, so let's talk about brushes, sponges, you know, applicator tools, right? How to apply these foundations. What's the best ways to apply them? What's worth your money and what's not? So if you're putting on something like the Urban Decay or the Maybelline True Matte, I would definitely use something like this. This is the Real Techniques Expert Face Brush. Honestly, out of foundation brushes, this is the best one that I have ever used by a long shot, okay? This is just, it's just tits. I mean, honestly, let's just be honest here. This is awesome, okay? So you can get this at Ulta for $8.99. It just buffs out that foundation really well, gives you that really nice, flawless airbrush finish. Works really well getting on all those little nooks and crannies all over your face. It's just a very nice, firm but still soft buffing brush. So I would definitely recommend this. Now I have seen this at TJ Maxx and Marshalls before, between $4 and $6. So if you see them there, definitely grab one. I see people using and applying concealer or foundation with brushes like these. They're kind of like a more flat brush. Obviously, I do have one which came in a kit of brushes that I have, and honestly, I don't feel like it's really worth your money. I barely use this, so I would not recommend ever getting anything like that. Now, if you're putting on powder foundations, this is the only time I would recommend this brush, and that is going to be a kabuki brush. Now, if you're wanting the most bang for your buck, I would definitely recommend getting the Real Techniques Brush Crush 306 Kabuki brush, which is $16.99 at Ulta. Now, I have seen these at TJ Maxx and Marshalls for around $9, but they go fast because they are really a great kabuki brush, and again, you're getting the most bang for your buck. Now, if you want a little bit more expensive or higher end brush, I would recommend getting the IT Blurring Kabuki brush number 123, which retails at $22. You can also get that one at Ulta. It contours, the shape of it contours to your face really well. It works really well with buffing and blurring everything out. And it's just an all-around really great powder foundation brush. So those would be the two that I recommend. Now, as far as sponges go, now if you're putting on a dewy finish foundation like the NARS, or even I use it with the Tint Idol, I would recommend getting a beauty blender, okay? Now, I wouldn't buy the Beauty Blender brand. Honestly, out of all the beauty blenders I've tried, this one is definitely my ride or die. This is the Morphe Highlight and Contour Beauty Sponge. As you can see, it's got a really nice shape to it. It's really good for getting in all those little nooks and crannies and under your eye and doing contour. And it's just an all-around great sponge. I absolutely love this thing. I love it, okay? So this would be the one I would recommend. Now, if you wanna save a little bit of money, so for $1 less, for $5.99, you can get the Real Techniques Miracle Complexion Sponge. Now, I have seen these at Walmart and some other places, but right now Ulta has it for $5.99. I would definitely get the one that is shaped like this. Do not get the ones that are shaped like this. The reason being, I don't know if they have the Miracle Complexion Sponge shaped like this. I don't like these ones as much. The Miracle Complexion Sponges are normally shaped like this, and they just have a lot better feel and a lot better application to them. So I would get the Real Techniques Miracle Complexion Sponge. All right, and then Ulta has a combination set of the Real Techniques Expert Face Brush, the Miracle Complex Sponge, and then a deluxe concealer brush. Now, they have that for $19.99. I would not waste my money on it. Honestly, you don't need a concealer brush. Your concealer has a brush in there, and you really need to be applying that concealer under your eye, especially with your finger or with one of these sponges, okay? So I would not waste your money on getting a concealer brush. Just use one of the sponges, all right? Or your finger and just tap it in. That is your best bet. And again, your under eye area dries out very quickly. So that's really the way you want to go with that, all right? So just buy them separately, one for $8.99 and then the other one for $5.99. All right, guys, now we're gonna get ready for the Get Ready With Me, where I'm gonna be showing off a couple of these foundations to you guys. So we'll be right back. All right, guys, so now we're ready for our Get Ready With Me foundation tutorial video. So I'm going to be showing you guys 2 of the foundations that I talked about today, because I feel like as far as applying them goes, it's kind of a little different for each of them, so you can kind of see how each application process works. Okay, so the first one we're going to be doing is this one, which is the Naked Skin. A lot of people, what they do is they put drops, a couple of drops on the back of their hand, and then they use the brush and then add. Now, I don't like to do that because your skin has pores in it and it's gonna soak up some of that foundation, and I feel like that's wasting product. So I instead use a plate, which I know probably sounds a little crazy, but I just put a few drops of foundation on a plate and then use my brush and dip it into that. But of course, before we get into that, we need to add on our primer. So for this foundation, I'm gonna be using the Professional Pore Primer. Again, I said a little bit goes a long way. So I'm just going to use my fingers and buff that in to my skin. Make sure we get our nose. Now, as you can see, I'm leaving my under eye area alone, and I will show you why here in just a second. All right, so now that we got our primer on and we are primed and ready to go, I mean, like, that's just a really awesome primer, honestly. And I love the way it smells. This one, I feel like this one smells better than the Cover FX, but the Cover FX is a little better than this one. So I don't know, it's a toss up. I do like them both. Okay, so for under my eyes, I get a little bit of creasing here, as you can see, and then I also get some darkness here in the corners. So I use the Becca Under Eye Corrector. I've talked to you guys about this before, and I just put a little bit on my finger. You don't need a lot, and then I kind of dab that, just a couple dabs, and then take my ring finger, which is a softer finger because again, we're dealing with under our eyes, and I kind of just wipe that across. I need a little more, and then I dab and then wipe that across very carefully, and then I go back in and just dab it in and make sure it's all nice and pressed in. And I really feel like this really definitely brightens that under eye area, especially if you have veins or stuff, which I have one popping today on this side, so I'm going to add a little bit more there, and then I need to add a little bit more to this side to make them match. But I really feel like this really cancels out those dark circles, those veins, that kind of thing. And then also, it really sets your concealer. And if you're having a lot of creasing problems, I would definitely use this as well. And then I'm gonna go in with my concealer on top of this. So this is, again, the Laura Mercier. I really love this stuff. It is amazing. And you see that? It's got a brush on the end of it, so you don't need a concealer brush, okay? So just definitely rub that in, wipe it in. You can also use a beauty blender and tap it in, which I do sometimes, depending on, you know, the look of it, which it looks like I'm going to have to do that today. So let's go in with our beauty blender and do a little tappy tap across that eye there. There we go. Now, that's looking good. Yeah, there we go. All right, now let's move on to our foundation. So as you all already saw, I already squirted a few drops onto my plate. I'm going to use my brush and just kind of dab, just dab like so. And then I'm going to take this and start at my cheeks and just do circles around my face and just buff it in like so. Okay, So we're just buffing. And again, dab, dab, dab. Do that cheek and buff it in. I really like this foundation when I'm doing a light coverage foundation day because it's really more of a medium to light coverage, I would say. But again, if you need a higher coverage, you can definitely build it up. It is definitely buildable. And don't forget, as always, to make sure you buff out those lines. All right. And then this is my last little bit. I only put 3 drops on there. And I'm putting my last little bit on my forehead. And you see how you pretty much get all of the foundation, like, you know. I will wipe this plate clean. See? And then, yeah, so we're just gonna buff in like so there. All right, so this is the, again, the Urban Decay Naked Skin. I really like it. It just smooths out your skin, and it's just a very natural finish. So normally I would put it on my other stuff, but I'm not going to yet because I'm gonna take this off and then we're gonna start over again and I'm gonna show you the next one. Okay, you guys, so I already took the Urban Decay off. I went ahead and primed my face, and this time I used the Cover FX primer, and then I also went ahead and used my Becca under eye along with my concealer. Now, this time I'm gonna show you my fave, and this is the Lancome Tint Idol. Now for this, the way I apply it is I actually get one of these little sample jars right here. And again, make sure you shake it up really good. And then I squirt a few drops, like just 2. You don't really need a lot. A little bit of this goes a long way. So I just squirt a couple of drops into the little sample jar, and then I actually take my finger in there and just dab it, you know, just little dots, like basically kind of everywhere. And then I go back in with my beauty blender and blend it out and dab it out, which you will see here in just a second. I feel like that's the best way to apply this foundation because it really, and actually what's funny is the lady at Macy's is the one that told me about it, and it really works the best. I've tried it with the beauty blender by itself and then with a brush, and I really just feel like this works the best and looks the best, okay? And it really gives you that doll-like finish. So again, oh, I gotta get something, wipe my finger off now. Okay, so again, I'm gonna go in with my Morphe Beauty Blender here, and I am just going to dab this out. And I just love this foundation. It just gives such a, like I said, doll-like finish. And when you're first applying it like this and doing it, it kind of has, like, it looks like it's gonna be kind of wet, like a dewy finish. But then as it dries, it really dries out to that matte finish. And a lot of mattes I have problems with because they cake up because of how dry my skin gets in certain areas and then oily in others. So it'll be like cakey in some spots and then not so cakey in other spots. So, but this does not do that. It is just a really good in-between foundation. And I really just love it. All right, so that is the foundation. Now I'm going to go in with my powder and kind of set my under eye area. Now, if you guys remember this from last month, yes, this is the Estetica P12 brush. This is a perfect brush for patting that powder on because you don't want to sweep. You want to just dab, okay? So I'm gonna go in with this Becca Hydra Mist powder, which is insane. Like I told you, the first time you all use this, you're gonna be like, oh my God, this is the most insane thing I've ever felt. And then it's got like a little screen in there. So literally you just take this and just kind of dab it on that screen and then just dab under your eye or wherever you're setting. So I just use this to just set under my eye, and it doesn't dry out my under eye area at all, which I love. And then if I get, you know, kind of, like, you know, oily across my face and stuff, I will, you know, just do little dabs across there. Okay, so that is how I do my concealer and foundation, and I hope you guys really enjoyed this. So hang on a second, I'm gonna finish my face up and then we're gonna wrap it up. All right, bye. All right guys, so now we are done. As you can see, the foundation has dried to its wonderful matte finish. I love it so much. Just like I said, it gives that doll-like look. Just added a little bit of highlighter, some mascara, a little bit of shimmer on my eyelids, and that's it. So basically, again, this was all about foundation, so I really just wanted to stick to that so you guys could see the finished product with that. All right, so as always, if you guys have any questions, feel free to comment below. You know I love reading your comments. Again, we will be doing a brushes video and get into the nitty-gritty of brushes, and then we will just kind of work our way up from there. So then we'll get in eyeshadows, and I know some of you guys want contouring, and we'll just move our way up to hopefully to where everybody is on the same level and we can have some little professional makeup artists running around. All right, so I've had so much fun doing this, you guys, and I really appreciate all your love and support. Feel free, like I said, to comment, like this video, and if you haven't subscribed already, definitely do that. All right, bye guys.